Opk and Gorms, today into tomorrow. So today is in support of the Great Tommy Sleepout, RBL. Gets a community driven sort of fundraiser going, and for a lot of people actually it just gets them outdoors. It's an excuse to get outdoors. Everybody here has been to Opk and Gorms before. You all know me apart from Stevie, so welcome back guys. It's a pleasure to have you back. Structure for the day: we're going to go for a walk around the woodland and up onto Opk and Gorms wood, and then I'm going to push the vision of Opk and Gorms onto you, and then we'll come back down here, get another brew, and I think what we do is I'll get the axes out for the axe throwing range, and then essentially it's an open weekend. But actually I'm really looking forward to being part of the crew this weekend. But yes,
you said we were going to eat some of them, mate. No, we're going to eat fucking all of them.
We are.
No point in cooking them and eating them, is there?
Oh, I wasn't anticipating them being left.
That's a first for me, somebody flipping Buttleys.
Oh, you got to get them warm on both sides. I think Caroline, Derek's partner, is bringing some chilli. I've got some steak burgers, some sausages and some pheasant. So we will be well nourished. Not a lot of vegetables but yeah, today, Great Tommy Sleepout, bringing people back together and socialising and just decompressing, chilling out a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly boys, what a fucking welcome. This is ace. It's been a long time since I've done sort of veteran stuff. When I first came out to the army, I was in a fucking shit state of affairs, and I started speaking online. I thought I'd help a few folk, and a charity got in touch with me and they're like, would you come and give us a bit of help? We ended up over 6 years and we raised about 6.5 million for them. But I didn't realise how much doing charity work and sort of giving back would give me. I was in the bones of my arse, got kids, no money, no cunt would help me. The council actually said, we can house the kids but not you. And I remember thinking, what the fuck have I just spent 9 years of my life doing? And it was easy to get angry, and I had to keep my shit together because, you know, the bairns were young. I ended up begging for money basically to get a job offshore, and I got my courses and stuff, and it took me about 11 months to even get a job. The whole time I was breadlining it. When it's just yourself, you can kind of figure it out, and it's hard even then, but with the kids and the missus it was really tough. But I started speaking online, which was the most fucking weird thing, because for 3 years after I left the army, I didn't even have a mobile phone. The reason I got a phone, my ex-wife got it for me. I went to meet a pal of mine, his ex-paras, and I says, right, I'll meet you at Waterstones in Aberdeen. He was coming up for Perth. I'm sitting in Waterstones and about 2 hours go by and I got a tap on the shoulder, and it was the guy that worked there, and he says, are you Steve? And I was like, yeah. He says, yeah, your mate Derek's not coming. Your wife's just phoned to let you know. I didn't have a phone. I was like, all right, no worries. I fucking drove home. So she gave me a fucking phone, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, this is quite good actually. And that was where it all started, speaking to people on the internet. One person turned into 1,000, 1,000 turned into fucking 70,000 people online. It kind of became this fucking big deal. Then came all the shit. People accusing me, fucking, you're stealing, you're robbing, you're doing all this for fucking your own gain. And I'm like, I'm fucking skint. I joke and I laugh a lot online. There's a lot of giggles and fun, and I do a lot of work and I raise money and I do good stuff. But it's still me that has to put my fucking head in the pillow at night. I got posted to my unit when I was 17. I got posted to Germany at 17. I wasn't even an adult. And straight into the fucking bar with the big old boys, you know. And I'll touch on this a lot later on, but I quit drinking for a decade, not AA or anything, but I woke up in a fucking prison cell. I was scrapping with the fucking bobies, and I was actually best man at the wedding. Me and him served 4 tours together. But waking up in that fucking cell, I'm like, fucking again? I'm like, my kid's 3 months old. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I just thought, right, I'm going to put the drink down. And I never touched it for a decade. I didn't go out, I didn't socialise, I was just a family man for 10 years straight. It was weird because my son last year, he says, do you know you're the only dad out of all my pals that on the weekend you weren't hungover? I was like, really?
That's quite rare, isn't it?
There was a lot of violence in my background. So for him to say that, it was a really, really big deal. So things like that have been my successes. Kind of stuff like that's been my big kind of takeaways. Am I getting too deep?
No. Thank you just for sharing that insight straight away. So with Opk and Gorms, one of the beauties of Opk and Gorms that I see is that we all converge here and we don't know each other, but we've all walked very, very similar paths. And when you get the chance to be in an environment where you're with your peers, then you know what, you feel like there's always a bond or a trust. And so my big thing is with a campfire, I always say, like when I'm running a group, that whatever we say on the night time during our talk, say, will stay and burn out in the coals. And then it gives people the opportunity to sort of actually talk and explore other avenues. But at the same time, also CAIRNGORMS gives people the chance just to be outside, and it's a break from the kids or work.
I was shitting myself yesterday about coming here.
Yeah. Most people, I think that's one of the issues I have, is people don't know what to expect. I had a couple of guys before say, "Oh, we genuinely thought we were going to come and dig in and stuff, you know." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, well, it's like bushcraft and stuff." I was like, "Yeah, but bushcraft is like a whole broad range." It's just giving people that chance to be outdoors as well, you know. And then with nature resonates so much on us as individuals. You know, some of the trees that have come down but are still growing, and you know, it's remarkable. And there's so many different connections. So if everyone's nearly finished, what we will do, we'll get a jacket on if you're on a jacket, and we'll get around this loop. Right, come on then, guys. Now I'm going to try and talk while my teeth are stuck together. Whose idea is it to bring a Claire's? So we set up an axe throwing range here, and it's brilliant, and that's what's kind of drawing people in. From the axe throwing, the markers here go all the way out to 30 meters. We're going to do archery as well, and I want to do like a trail range. So you'll have a bow and an axe, different targets in different areas. You'll walk the trail, come to a white stone, that might be an arrow, and you have on the timer to see where you can engage. It's to engage that little bit of the brain that we all still have, that's fun but also a little bit competitive. Like I said, 10 days after I quit work and set what was known as Warriors Woodland up, Arwen came and it blew one of the beech trees over there down. That opened a gap and it just vented into here. So anything pointing up the hill as we're walking along was Arwen. Anything going left to right, or right to left, sorry, that was then Malloch and Corrie. As a woodland, say, owner, we don't have the budget to stuff people in, and I won't get big machinery in because big machinery just destroys the ground. But Dennis, who sneakily sits at the back, he does come in and help me. And when we did get a bit hit by Arwen, I do think if I didn't have like Dennis as a mate coming in, and I don't know where we'd be.
So how long have you been here? Sure.
Yeah, 2019 we sort of committed to taking ownership. My lovely wife Pip, so she's a co-founder of Opk and Gorms, and she did serve. She went on that TV program Alone. It was based on the American one where they drop you into the Canadian wilderness with 10 items and you stay for as long as you can survive. She did it 2 years ago. Yeah. It's the most jealous I've ever been. This here is going to be my memorial, well, not mine, but the Opk and Gorms Memorial Woodland. It's my vision. I want to create a pathway. I've started marking out the route, and essentially it'll go from Opk and Gorms into this area and it'll snake down this hill.
I love the idea of a memorial. That in itself is enough to pull most people, you know. Yeah. I think it's a really good idea, mate.
So we got told these have been here since 1740 they were planted in, back before, I think that's back before the days of the Jacobites, you know. At some point that ended up in there, but the tree hasn't stopped growing, it hasn't died, it's simply taken this and become part of it, or this has become part of the tree, you know. And I love stuff like this. People can resonate it, yeah, resonate to it. I love that. I think it's like really quite powerful, you know. It doesn't matter what time of year, it doesn't matter if I'm planning courses, if people need a space to come to, they can come to this area.
It's needed.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, of course.
Like, speaking to the lads, are like they'll tell you as well, like, it's hard getting help. But it's even fucking harder if there's nowhere to go for the help.
I mean, I come up here sometimes, I'll be working down there and I'll just want to stop work and I'll either get in a hammock or I'll take a 2-minute walk up here and just sit here. And on the right day, the sun will be on you. You've got Morvin there, and it's so just settling. It's little things like that. Little things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but just having the presence of something cool like that. It's So I would say, you know, like have a look at that tree there or that one there. I reckon we see who can get kind of, see who can get a bit high. You know, there's no one else around. And act a bit daft, be safe. But see, like life is honestly so serious all the time. And I mean, I do this with the teenage groups and the kids groups we have. And I'll be like, right, come on, let's go climb a tree. And people won't, because they will have never, they didn't do it. So yeah.
That muscle memory just kicking right back in. Fuck, he's off.
Well done, mate, well done, well done.
Getting back to nature like this, it gets you to the nature in here again.
But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll start walking and heading back down the hill now, and then when we get back to camp, we'll get the 2 wheelbarrows and get the silver birch over. Yeah. Dennis can have a chat with everyone, and we can start doing this communal bowl, you know, having the pole lathe and actually crafting something out of the wood. As we've sort of discussed, we'll listen, we'll use our listening ears, we'll listen and enjoy it. If you do feel like you want to get up, have a wander, absolutely fine. And please remember, guys, safe space. Yeah, I won't harp on because Steve's going to talk to us about Disney World or something.
I am.
Don't know, you know? But Stevie?
Disney World in 20-man tents. Right, first of all, thank you so fucking much for today, all yous. I do this kind of stuff where I go around the world talking and all that fancy shit, but I am like a council estate reject, and I find myself in a really privileged position. I haven't done a lot of veteran work for the last 4 or 5 years, so this feels like coming home. From the fucking second I turned up here, from the second I turned up here, I got what I needed, which was the absolute fucking piss taken out of me all day. So thank you all so much for that. Right, the story I'm going to tell you is my story. It's my life, it's my story. It's the only real value I've got to give anyone. And I tell it in the most honest way I can, which is the brutal truth. There's some moments in it that are really fucking funny and wonderful to me, and there are some really harrowing parts to it. And probably yous have got something similar yourselves. I was born into a gypsy family. I am gypsy by birth, and because of that, I've spent my entire childhood really fucking poor and having to fight for fucking everything. And there was one Christmas, we had a particularly fucking hard year. The electricity was constantly off, and I would be cooking my sister toast in the morning before school on the fireplace. And I was embarrassed and I felt shamed because I had all these friends who were going on fucking holidays, had gifts and toys, and I'm like, fuck me, mum, we don't even have electricity. Like, why am I so different? Before I even got into the fucking army, I was fighting a war at home. You know, I want somebody to take care of us, which was never going to happen. And this feeling started to begin to brew inside of me. If no other fucker's going to take care of us, I will. And I remember even I live in, I knew Santa didn't exist, but this little childlike hope, I really hope there's fucking food, I really hope there's some kind of miracles happened. And I came down the stairs, opened the living room, and my mum was sat in the kitchen crying in her hands. And I just remember thinking, fucking hell, why does this keep happening? We had a coal bunker in the back garden, the old-fashioned concrete coal bunkers, and there was peat bags, empty peat bags. And I went there, picked up the peat bag, went down to the local plots, you know where the men do put their tatties in like plots of field, and I robbed them. Tatties, carrots, neeps. I just got everything I could so that we could have tatty soup. And that's when the idea of, I need to get the fuck out of here. I know a lot of people in life who are 18, 20, 25, 30 and they still don't know what they want to do. I knew at 11 years old exactly what the fuck I wanted, and that was to become a British soldier. And it wasn't like an escape, it was a fucking dream for me. I used to go to the youth club on a Friday night and we'd play five-a-side football. Now and again we'd get these 16-ounce boxing gloves and they'd pair us up and we'd just knock fuck out of each other. But this particular day, the Argyll and Southern Highlanders had set up an assault course. And I remember walking through that doors on that Friday and thinking, fucking yes. As I run round that assault course, like the fucking wind was on my back and I was free. I had like a purpose inside of me. 27th of March 1997, I signed the dotted line. Major John G. Lowe of the Highlanders signed me on and I went into the military. I was very naive. I remember thinking at 16 I was an adult, a big boy in a world of men. I was like, I am a man now, and I've earned my way. And I did the whole basic training like everyone else has done, and I got posted to my unit at 17. By the time I was 18, I'd only been in the unit just over a year. Milosevic popped onto the TV and we were training to go on our first tour. Going over there, coming from Scotland, Kosovo looked like home. It looked so like where I grew up. It was beautiful. Rivers, glens, undulating fucking countryside. I absolutely fucking fell in love with it, and I fell in love with the people. I wanted to do as much as I could for them. The problem is that you start getting attached to locals. We were on a hilltop in Petch, and we'd been there for about 4 weeks. In the local town, Petch, it started to be set on fire every night. And over the course of about 6 weeks, I watched the entire town burn to the ground as they ethnically cleansed all the fucking families. Every morning, the locals who are now homeless, they would come up past our fucking location because they were going to live in the woods. And they would stop and speak to us and they would say, please, please, can you help us? We're being raped every night. My father's being beat up, and we were told we couldn't do anything about it because these are bullies, evil motherfuckers, and we just wanted to go and slaughter them and we couldn't. The vehicle in front of us just fucking screeched and everyone fucking stopped. We're looking around, I know something's not right. We got out, we debussed, and I fucking checked down the fucking left-hand side of all the vehicles, and there's a guy walking towards us carrying something, and it just didn't look fucking right. So, made ready, and the closer he got to us, I realised why it looked so fucked up, is he was carrying the body of his 12-year-old kid, who'd just been blown up. And that's the reason why everyone had stopped. And he came right up past us, and he was about 45, the Baron was about 12 years old, eyes still open, legs fucking mangled. He was bleeding out, dying in front of us. And I was fucking breaking my heart. And he crumpled right in front of us, and nobody knows what to do. Like, fuck, do we stop? Do we give aid? And I'm like, we need to fucking help these people. And that's the part, like, I'm sure many of you know, like, war doesn't prepare you for that shit. And right there I thought, this is about as fucking bad as it can get, watching a burn, blown up and dying in front of you. Family just losing a child. Right there and then, they ordered us to leave them at the side of the road. And it was fucking cold. And we got into our vehicles and we drove off. And that was the day for me where, like, real mental health really fucking pierced a hole in my heart. And we never spoke about it. Nobody brought it up. None of the leaders, none of the fucking, sergeant staffies, fucking, no cunt brought anything up. So either did I. That's just the way, isn't it? Like, okay, this is never brought up. I was 18 years old. So to give you context, like, I was only legally allowed to drink a pint. Now that last 2 years in the army, the first time I tried to take my own life, I tried taking an overdose. I got a hold of some beta blockers for some reason, and I remember taking about 50 or 60 tablets, and then luckily somebody came to my aid, and I was looked after, and I puked it all up and put it in the hospital. But from the second that they knew that I wasn't myself, I literally became the #1 problem on camp. And once again, I felt like I was rejected and not the same as everyone else. People stopped talking to me. People stopped engaging with me. And I understand it. You don't want to be associated with shit. And if I'm honest, I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to be here either. And I didn't quite understand how I was going to handle that. I remember driving home that day and something beautiful was inside and I had no idea what to do with it. I didn't have the skill set, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the talent. And I started writing online. And I wrote this idea called, I've got all these unspoken things that I want to speak about. And I started speaking about my unspoken wounds, but not in a bitter way. And 8 people joined, and then 100. And then within a few years, there were tens of thousands of people following and listening to this. So I must have been onto something. Asked to go and share my story to a charity, and I was like, what, like, speak? And they're like, yeah, please come down and share your story. And then I went down and it went really well. And they asked me to come back and be the face of a campaign. And I'd no fucking idea what all this stuff was. It happened purely by chance and a little bit of grace. And I remember seeing the number that they showed me that what we'd, as a group of people, what we'd raised that year, and it was like 1.3 million. I remember looking at a number and going like, hang on a minute, I was like, we've generated that money and that's going to help. They're like, it's going to help veterans, families and all that stuff. So then they asked me to come back the year after, and we did it for 4 years. We raised well over 6 million. I was giving fucking speeches in Stirling Castle and Holyrood and working with the BBC and all this fucking mad crazy shit. And I remember like speaking about this stuff to them, and I had enough money in my bank to buy a Happy Meal. I was raising millions for charity. I could barely fucking feed myself. Depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, alcoholism, addiction, rejection, hurt and pain. I've dwindled this down to a simple thing, which is a wound. We've all got pain. We've all got fucking shit. We've all got something that is inside of us all. We've all got a story. We've all got an experience. We've been somewhere. We've experienced something. And it changes you. I figured out that if I didn't take control of the narrative around what that change was, then it's in control of me. I started speaking to the parts of me inside, and it really brought me back to, and this is going to sound a bit daft, but that kind of inner child shit, the shadow self. It's really fucking hard to go that part of yourself. But what happened when I did is it changed me for the better. I got to let go of the pieces that were hurting me and hurting others. I stopped bullshitting myself. I stopped lying to myself, and I stopped pretending to be anything I wasn't. What I discovered is that the wound is the way. Is that if you go into the wound, there is a wisdom inside of it. A wisdom that is yours, not mine. My wisdom inside my wound was for me. And there's a wisdom inside yours that's for you. So whether the fuck you want to become a millionaire or just walk the earth and do whatever the fuck you want to do, get around campfires, you speak about purpose, that shit's real. But that's what we need to get back to. And I was sitting listening to some of your stories, you know, earlier today, and I was like, fucking hell, like, just genuine people. And I'm watching everyone just like sitting around this campfire, like, this is really what it's about. I just have this belief inside of me that is, that day I walked away from that burn on that road broke me. It fucking broke me. And I'm not a religious person, right? I'm not. But if that shit is true, when we pass and we get to go to that next place, I would really like to go to the bit that's upstairs. Leaving that kid at the side of the road, I had this haunting thought, I'm not going to go upstairs, I'm going to the other place. because why the fuck would anyone walk away from a child? So all the hurt, the anger, the fighting, the self-abuse, the self-torture, the drinking myself into prison cells, all that shit was self-sabotage. Because I didn't have any self-worth, you know, self-love, whatever you want to call it. I didn't consider myself worthy of being loved or being given goodness or kindness. So no wonder other people didn't. What you're doing here is the work of saving lives. And it's pretty fucking obvious that it's working. Now, that's a fucking lot of morbid shit to talk about. But the other side of this, and I can call you friends now, I hope, is I've never felt so lucky and blessed and happy inside, and it's genuine. And I've found that when I've started to live like this, things have come to me in a really nice way. And I'd always had this dream of having my own podcast. 3 months ago, I'm sitting speaking to a pal of mine who's a photographer, and he's like, "Oh, have you met Stuart?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, Stuart does podcasty stuff." And I was like, "Really?" So me and Stuart now have got this mad podcast going, and he's been here flying his drone. That just kind of happened naturally. And other things have happened. I have no idea what the fuck any of yous want for yourselves. And I can't make any of it happen for you. But I can be someone that can stand by you, support you, and if I can help in any way, I will. There's a work in progress here, a bloke that's still figuring his shit out, but what was inside was just a fucking bloke that wants to have a laugh. I want to have a good life. I don't want to fight with anyone. I don't want to be in a battle with anyone. I don't want to be in a retaliation with anyone, you know. I just want a good life, because fuck me, I think I've earned it. And I think all of us here have too. Now I'm going to shut up now and let you fucking... So I am just this happy man that loves life and... Oh. Oh. Thanks, mate. Thanks, man. You dropped your phone. I'll take it now. I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you, everyone is.
That's great.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers, big lad. All right, Paul. Thanks, man.
Sounds just like me, maybe. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Oh. Nice one.
Thanks, Paul.
Can I just 4 kisses?
Fuck off, you big daft cunt.
That was more than I anticipated it, and like I said, so what we say here with the fire, you know, that safe space, it burns out in the coals.